I'm gonna have to use. I'm glad. I guess I made this text thing because everybody keeps having barcodes today or like weird names. So let me just go updates Rogue real quick, guys. There we go. Shrink that down a bit. Almost perfect. We'll see. That's good enough. Anyways, we've actually. I think maybe I was casting with Maynard. I don't recall, but we got to not so long ago see Rogue versus Keen actually play out in the BTSL a little while back. If you guys don't remember that score, it was a best of 5 and Rogue ended up winning. I want to say 3-1, maybe it was 3-2, but there was a really good series between the two of them, and I'm excited for this one because spawning here to the top left is the Red BlizzCon 2017 champion, Rogue.
In the bottom right, as the blue Terran, he is Keen, with no titles under his belt, but still looking very good. He is playing well online, where as Rogue is recently defeated in an offline tournament that everyone thought he was going to do well in. So where is this going to be at?
Well, so there's some things to be said. There is a huge spike in performance difference for some players when it comes to online versus offline. It shouldn't really apply to Rogue, though, because he's done well in both. In fact, Rogue won one of our very first ever big tournaments we hosted. No, excuse me, it was Life. Whoops, awkward. But Rogue's actually played a lot of our stuff online. Rogue's played a lot of our stuff online, so...
Season 1 of
Ting. Yeah.
Yeah. But, you know, his Korean name has the word Chobo in it, and if I remembered enough Korean grammar, I feel like he's saying that his name is Chobo or something like that, or I'm Chobo. But not sure, not 100% sure. Maybe someone who actually reads Korean confirm, but that would be funny. It seems like perhaps we're getting a bunch of self-deprecating Zergman Protoss today.
Well, going back to what I was referencing not too long ago, was it with you or was it with Maynard I was casting that series? Do you recall?
I really don't, but I might have been there. I just don't remember.
Okay, well, I guess not super relevant. It's just curiosity for my sake. But Keen played mech, and even though he did lose, it was still a really good series that did not look like it was super over. And only I recall the last game, it was like a Neon Violet Square match. Like, Rogue demolished him on that map. But other than that, Keen was showing a lot of really cool stuff, a lot of good trades, good Hellion harass, you name it. So fingers are crossed. I'm hoping for mech because I think that Keen does play it very well nowadays. Although it's funny because we really got to see Keen back in his Babby mech days, right? First step into it, didn't know what to do with Thors. Now he can handle them like a pro.
He really had a lot of things going wrong with his mech play. That is absolutely 100% for sure. But now he is one of the better mech players. You know, setting out his tanks really well, being aware of Blinding Cloud, transitioning into Thors when need be, controlling his units correctly, always Hellion harassing, always having some type of map vision, even when mech gets overwhelmed by creep spread, if you're not always on it. He's done quite well. Doesn't quite catch the third base drone, but instead goes for the main base scout. If it's free, I guess go for it, but you could just scout the third and be okay and bring that Reaper back home.
Yeah, it's a shame he doesn't get too much from it. Stim starts up, so it's not going to be mech. Feels bad, man, but we'll see how this handles versus Rogue. Before the game picks up too much, though, once again, Derek, thank you for the $100, dude. If you said something in chat, I missed it, but just call him for one more time. I'd love to give you some love back. But also, Paul Kaspersky, thank you for that brand new sub, and he combos it with Morala 25 with a Prime sub. Thank you both for joining the Base Trade Brigade. I bring this up because Jibby actually asked in chat, just curious, how far away from a new emote slot unlock are we? Well, Jibby, unfortunately, us as well as every streamer on Twitch is recently experiencing subscriber depression at the end of the holiday season. We are a little shy of 600 subscribers away from unlocking a new emote. So I don't think that's coming anytime soon.
Yeah, it's gonna take a while. Hellion harassment in the main base, not gonna go so well. Rogue did respawn. Really, any amount of lings already complicates things for Hellions. Keen we talked a lot about his mech game, is going for bio. Alive recently showcased at the highest level, I suppose, that bio is still fine. But I don't know, if you really watch those games, and I am talking about GSL, it wasn't the most convincing thing, except against Rogue. Like, against Scarlet, Alive actually had a ton of trouble. He arguably should have won. Oh, that was last time. Oh no, that was a nuke. That's right. It hit this drone.
The drones that transferred away into the ones that got pulled in. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. So, but Rogue for some reason really didn't look great against Bio and on this map against a tank push. It seems like a very off day for Rogue. I don't know if it'll... that's why Keen does it here, or maybe he just, you know, he wants to save mech for bigger maps where he's less confident in his ability to pressure. I don't know. But it's bio. It's bio through and through. Got some upgrades on the way, and they're going to be faster than Rogues.
I mean, what kind of kills me too is we have a lot of people overanalyze Rogue's play. Like, okay, he was champion. Shouldn't he be doing better? Like, there's some, like as if there's some power granted by being a champion. But at the same time, though, you've got people who were past champions also with the same level of decline in performance, right? Like, let's talk about TY post-patch. Or rather, let's not, so nobody cries, because I feel really bad.
There is apparently a bit of a curse, you know? Like, Byun did not perform well in his GSL after his BlizzCon win. And, you know, we've even talked about in the BaseTradeTV events, they'll come back from a tournament that they won, IEMs or WCS or something like that, and they'll do really not well in online tournaments.
Yeah, when DreamHack lose the next go for StarCraft, it's like feels bad, man. Yeah,
so it's weird. Maybe there is a curse, and maybe Rogue, it was actually as simply as having a bad day. Apparently it was his birthday too. I thought it was like a joke at first, just to compound on why it feels bad, but apparently it was true. Happy birthday! Way to lose.
Suggestion in chat saying, fart on stream, it worked for Dodger. Yeah, I didn't know that. That's so funny. When Dodger came on stream, she had just come off of a 500 sub train after farting on stream. I was like, I've got a lot of farts, but I always keep them off stream. Maybe that's my mistake.
Obviously.
All right, well, the bio push is on its way. There's gonna be combat. I think he'll probably wait for combat shields. He's got a 1-1, but that shouldn't be an advantage. Rogue should be finishing that up either at the time of the attack or before. So I don't know. This is actually a pretty well set up attack from both sides, but Rogue's got significantly less units, and that's what's so worrying. But with a couple of good Baneling connects, he could really just tear through Keen's army. I mean, this is a very flimsy army with no Marauders in front, no tanks. It's all light units.
I wouldn't mind. Don't see those. Oh, come on. Those are worthless.
I thought those Banelings were going to do way more. He got 4 of them right in the heart of the army, and it felt like they didn't do jack squat, but he does clean this up, at least enough to pick up. Keen going to fall back a little bit. We're getting a bit off a creep. A bit greedy.
That's a mistake. That is a mistake. Funnily enough, he didn't really have to prioritize transfusing the Overseer. Oh, that's a lot more units. Oh, God. Yeah, Keen with the perfect rally right there. Rogue thought he had a chance, was going off of creep, and now has to retreat back into more Banelings, more Hydras, giving Keen a lot of room to push forward, get a lot of those live cube tumors. Would have been awkward split. He didn't want to stim, so they were pretty slow. And of course, they're still on creep.
Rogue has evened up the army supply. Now he's got those Hydras out there, so this went from being a very unwinnable situation to him taking really good fights. Granted, some of these getting off creep starts getting a little bit bad, but he's evened up that supply, and now he's got something to shoot up with that aren't queens.
Yeah, Medivacs, you know, living can be a problem. They really compound something. They have 10, they don't have to build anymore. They start building Liberators. But Keen is missing a couple of factory production rounds, which is really important, especially with Widow Mines that are guaranteed going to die, basically, especially now. Even if you got the Overseer, they still be revealed. And that has been a big problem with his push, but also I think the eagerness of both players going on a creep, going off the creep. Keen's have to take up here and actually take a chill pill on the push.
Chillax, man. Well, 2-2 for both players is pretty much par, or on par. I don't think anyone's going to have any real advantage through that. 3-3 might be where it diverges, but it looks like Rogue's actually already on his way to set up for Hive. There we go, starts up as we speak, because the Infestation Pit, of course, had just finished.
Keen is adding a 4th base, and if he has to deal with late-game Zerg, he will have the economy to do so.
That Viking just pushed off the Overlords, but the Zergling gets in here for the scout. Big reveal on so many Medivacs heading towards the main.
Well, it's not really worth it. A single Ling saw Spore Crawlers there even complicates things. And
2 Spore Crawlers even.
Yeah, there you go. And Keen is going to have to pick up just to get away from the Hydras now.
Alright, well there is a drop sneaking by on the right side, and unfortunately Rogue's army is consolidated as 1, so there's nothing here to stop this. I'm going to bleed out some drones if he doesn't pull them.
Well, yeah, at least this was a big distraction. I mean, that was so many Medivacs that maybe Rogue even thought that was all of them. So see one off to the right side. Took a little while to respond to. Not the biggest deal. It would have been much worse had this pulled the entire army, which it did, away from the main, because Keen's still ready to go there. I still don't know how much a Doom Drop really does versus Zerg, though. Like, you just guarantee put yourself on creep.
It's not a full Doom Drop, too, though, is the thing. Like, these medevacs are not even half full. It's like a 30% full army.
Yeah, I mean, that's true, but it is still... It was like 4.5 medevacs that were full, and that... And with no splash, there's no staying power, and like I said, on creep, guaranteed Banelands and Mega Connection. It's always so weird to see big drops, I guess we'll call them, versus Zerg.
Ooh. We got Vipers coming out in a moment. That's going to help out a ton here dealing with the Liberator portion of this, but I don't think he's going to need that much help. Goes for the surround, sets up for this big attack coming down. As long as he doesn't need too many bad window mines, ate a couple of bad shots. Oh, third bad shot. And of course, he's been pulled out of the main. Rogue perhaps chasing a little too deep, cost him a lot of his army.
Keen is really ramping up. I mean, it was questionable with how long it took the drop to do much, but now this one gets in and really distracts. Keen has a huge army while still expanding into a planetary, keeping up on his upgrades as well. This is some very nice pressure, but ultimately Rogue looks like he still is going to be able to get to ultras. I mean, he's still got to get Kindness plating, so it's a little questionable, but his army's over here trying to prepare for this.
Rogue lost almost no workers, by the way, despite that. So that was a really good hold in the main, at least in terms of workers, but that army supply is still missing here.
And the Ultra Skyver's done, but he actually can't afford Kindness plating. He went for Adrenal Glands and +3 so fast, so it's got to be this attack held first and foremost. Ducks go down.
Ducks are not too bad, but he loses the Vipers for him, so very expensive. Now not much left to deal with the bio. The Baneling's coming in. Everything hiding behind the Marauders, so they're still getting a lot of hits. Widowmine's trying to get those shots, but the Banelings still detonate.
Yeah, it was a nice shot at the end. Rogue still has a 4th base, and if he could just take care of this, force Keen to go back home temporarily, he would have the breathing room. At 79 drones, he's still okay, but he is not even getting time to rebuild Baneling, so his Hydras are dying when really those should be kept alive of the entire game. Banelings and Lings are ones that are kind of expendable here. And Keen, I think it's just momentum's too good. The Viper comes out, but what's it really going to do? GG.
GG. Yo, first off, big congrats to Keen on winning game 1 of the series, but what I find so interesting about this, the fact that if you win versus Zerg right now with mech, you're like, okay, patch Terran, right? But nothing for bio really changed. This is still like a lot of the same old that you saw before. So for Rogue to, like, again, people talk a lot about his skill post-patch versus pre-patch. This is still bio like what we saw when he was winning really well. So it makes me really interested on what the catch here is.
What's the catch? Abyssal's not in the map pool.
Feels bad, man. Well, Olimoleague said it. Does she know?
What? That was Rogue.
Oh, you're right. Sorry. My bad. I was looking at Olimoleague's name. Yeah, people were asking for the Abyssal intro earlier, too. Sorry, guys. Feels bad. The Olimoleague does cut out 2 maps out of the 7 every season, and Abyssal was one of the ones that made the cut. Or didn't make the cut.
Didn't make the cut. It was cut, but it didn't make the cut. English.
Hi. Oh, another English moment, right? This goes right back to Scent. I've been actually, every time I play like Overwatch or PUBG right now, I've been asking people specifically that question, and everyone's mind is like, what the fuck? And if you guys don't know what the question is, sorry, because not everyone tunes in all the time. In the word scent, like to smell something has a scent, is the S or the C silent? And you're like,
Doesn't matter.
There's some rule. One of them. I was actually watching a British show, one of the David Mitchell, something David Mitchell was on, I can't remember, but they had this thing I was trying to remember because it goes back to Colossi versus Colossus, right? Nexus versus Nexi. And they were shooting people in the office for bad grammar instead of firing them or something. I can't remember. The premise of the sketch was silly. But they actually had the definition of why something becomes I versus S. And I'm like, oh, I wish I could remember that so I could apply it to this stupid debate in StarCraft that is like verb versus noun versus adjective for Colossi. I'm still not on board with calling them Colossi, ever.
Yeah, I did call them Colossi for a while, but I think I've been back to Colossus, both plural and singular, for the past couple of years. But I can't remember because I don't see them that often.
Well, I am currently in the slot to play against Rogue. Swap me, please. I'm scared.
No, thank you. No, thank you.
I mean, I could probably bust out a total mech build here, but I don't think it would work very well. Rogue's like, why is this guy one-base battle cruisers? This makes no sense. Anyways, Blackpink's the next map. We just had some big bits come in from OJ Tech. Thank you for the 1,000 bits. Swift Rage is wow keen. Well, if Rogue wins, you got to cheer, but with a Baneling bust emote instead, right? All right.
Yeah.
By the way, man, I don't know if you heard about it or not. Lithium fucking Bane busted the stream hardcore the other day. But
I did not.
anyways, get it again. I'll tell the story in a moment. See you guys on Blackpink. All right, we're back. I gotta move the names around one more time because Rogue's now on the bottom. But yeah, there's a clip of it somewhere. Lithium basically like 200,000 bits or something, but all Banelings busting the stream. It's the most pay to win I've ever seen StarCraft ever.
Wow.
I literally almost fell out of my chair in reaction to it. Not like super on purpose. Like it's just this great awkward set of events that all came down at the same time. Anyways, we're in game number 2. Thank you again for the 1,000 bits, man. Game number 2. Spawning to the lower left. He's down at the moment, and it's the red. Nope, the blue Zerg Rogue.
And the top right is the red Terran. He is keen.
Oh man, is that a bloody faster butt I see in chat? Nice, Shiro Kitsune senpai.
Looks like a Mass Effect butt.
Yeah, well that's kind of like her thing.
Okay. I just don't remember seeing Shepard in short shorts, but yeah.
Well, clearly you didn't use enough mods. Oh man, actually I was playing Left 4 Dead with Nathanius the other night, and I guess he had mods he didn't know about because Lewis was like Midoriya from like My Hero Academy, and the tank, instead of being like the zombie tank, was like Nomu from the anime. And he was freaking out because he didn't remember downloading those mods. And I'm like, what are you I don't see this, like what are you talking about? So then tab out, tried to stream on. It looks ridiculous.
I think I tuned in 1 second, but I didn't notice. Or actually, you know, I thought he was playing something else, and I had to check the stream playing game to be like, what the heck? That's Left 4 Dead. I don't remember this.
Yeah, it's I hadn't played Left 4 Dead in like 2 years. That was actually a lot of fun. I enjoyed it.
It is a fun game. I mean, it's a shoot 'em up with friends. So
blah 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 blah.
It's usually a fun way to play. But yo, Keen really doing quite well. Oh. Are you guys doing it at the same time?
Awkward bits. Who ends up being the bit boss? That's the question. Looks like Jibby locks it down. Oh man. Okay, so first off, let's talk about the game. Get those big thanks and that love out for bits in a sec. Reaper coming in here, not gonna get a scout. There's a back door in Blackpink now. Keen's, or what's the innovation? I'm actually already forgetting. Someone had a very awkward scout with the Reaper, not checking thirds, but going straight to the main.
That was Keen in the last game.
Okay, yeah, just double checking. So we'll see if he makes that same quote-unquote mistake. Right now he is checking for thirds though, so he's not going to see one down obviously, but keeping the Reaper alive and not diving in. He'll back away, and that gives me time to do shoutouts really quick to Jibby, who does Bane Bust, by the way. With some, dude, I gotta check out Madeline's new emotes. I had no idea she was partnered. Jesus. 1,000 bits with Banelings. Boom! I'm the bit boss now. He is correct. And then, of course, Monty. Dude, Monty, been about a minute. Hope you've been well, dude. He also cheers 1,000 bits, but unfortunately gets denied because if you cheer bits at the same time, the bit boss is like, I don't know how to handle this because I'm a freeware program. Derp, derp, derp. So it should technically be Monty who's bit boss, but it's Jibby with a hun of health.
Derp, derp, derp.
It's like a fish underwater. Like, bloop, 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 bloop. Pretty much.
Keen is going for what looks to be potentially another Hellion drop, but if the armory scouted, it's clearly not a Hellion drop. It's the Hellback push.
I was gonna get this comment on that too. Rogue has Overlord speed, so it'd be nice for him to get in there, and he will definitely at some point, but he's not moving in yet. So he's not getting that scout, he's not gonna see the armory, might not prepare for this, but he is starting to spread creep over to his third very quickly, which is good because that's the biggest problem. Your big defense in the early game is queens, and if those can't move, I guess maneuver around, you're gonna have a bad time. He also went for a spine crow, so I think he knows something's up, he just doesn't know exactly what. Now he passes through the main, he doesn't see the armory! Ah,
wow.
no!
This would usually be 100% a Hellbat push anyways, but he sees the Marines and is like probably really questioning. You know, last game was a Hellion drop, so there are a lot of markers without seeing that the armory that this isn't Hellbats. So maybe he was expecting like a duo-pronged Hellion run by plus drop on the main. Now he sees the medevac here, and he must be starting to hit a little bit.
He's already building roaches, so if he's not going for solo and all in, these are just defensive to stop. And whether it's Hellbats or Hellions, roaches will get the job done.
Yeah, but I would really like if he did. This is more roaches than you need, unless they're going for like a much later Hellbat push with like Thors, right? Like the Thor drop Hellbat push.
Oh, he's
this
all
is
in.
more than you. Yeah,
he's zipping queens across the map.
He knows that Hellions were made and that there was a 1-1-1, and that most Terrans don't back up that 1-1-1 with immediate tanks, but Keen did. So he's got one thing going for him. He didn't build Widow Mines. He didn't use the factory to just build add-ons, but he has no wall. He scans and sees no drones at the third base and now realizes something really is truly up. Viking sees the Overlord too, but I don't know if he has time. I don't know if he has enough defense.
I do love that the Viking's trying to kill the Overlord. He's not going to get it because there'll be transfuses, but that would have been a good way to try and lock this down. He does try to get a wall off. I don't believe that's a full wall off, though.
No,
it's not. There you go. Tank sets up really far in the back, too, because he doesn't want to get the links surrounded, but the SCVs are pulled. Keen knows how desperate this hold is. If he holds this, he'll be in a great spot, but that's a big if. A lot of SCVs already going down, and the fight's barely begun. Bunkers finish up on the backside. He does get Marines inside of them, so they can fight a little bit, and that tank has got a lot of shots off. It's done a ton of damage. It's done 9 kills already.
Yeah, probably should have been targeting the heart of the roach the time, but he eventually got around to it. A second tank pops out. Upgrades still haven't gone down, but he's...
the repair keeps it alive for the Crucibles!
So close to losing control of his natural, but instead of doing that, he does hold. He lost 26 SCVs. Where does this really put the game?
Well, he's on the 3rd CC, so I would say recoverable, but not in a good spot. Because for him, he lost enough army supply that he can't immediately counter. This is so many SCVs dead too, but Mules will bridge that gap for some time. So we'll see how this shapes up. It's definitely Rogue who's in a better spot, but this game is not over yet.
So Keen can't pressure, giving Rogue a lot of time to build those drones up. But even though he's not pressuring now, doesn't mean that he doesn't have a good army. Because he saved those tanks that when he is going to push, it should still be pretty strong. Really going to see what happens in the next minute or two, because that's really what Keen's going to have to wait for. He can't just push with 2 tanks and hope it works out. He needs a lot more Marines. He needs to wait for those combat shields. But the fact that he didn't lose those upgrades is also a really huge difference maker.
Yeah, 1-1's going to be nice.
Plus 1-1, then I think Rogue, I would say, has a lead. But because he doesn't have to sweat upgrades for a while, realizing that was so all in, there's no way there's upgrades along with that. He can really just kind of, he doesn't have to invest into it again. He doesn't have to invest in 2-2 immediately. So a lot more of his income off those mules is going to things that are useful.
Yeah, it's interesting. We can see, sorry, just showing the income graph real quick. Like, obviously big dip when all the SCVs died, but Mules bringing back up temporarily to be on even mining, but as soon as the Mules die, he's right back in the same problem he was before. So Mules, they help bridge the gap, but they certainly don't solve the problem of income. Army supply, though, for Keen still not looking too shabby.
No, it's going to be interesting to see. Okay, this is really awkward. 2 tanks left behind, a siege in the middle.
Yeah, he didn't have enough room to bring those in. Alright, grabs an Overlord or 2. Not a bad start, but not exactly going to win him the game. Well, this does supply block Rogue, actually, so this might do a little bit. 7 Overlords are made, though, so he's good to go. Tank advance continues to push through. The actual army supply out of Rogue is not that much. It's a very small amount of Roaches and a couple Ravagers, but if they catch units like spread and split apart like this, it could go very well for Rogue, but he's not going to catch it. Looks like Keen does consolidate. He sieges up.
What an odd way to push with tanks, but it eventually looks to what you should. Tanks get by the Marines, even a couple Hellbats to help out, so some of the damage. And Rogue is in a bit of trouble. I think he had the means to bridge the army gap supply and you know, pounce on these tanks before they were sieged, but he's really lost that opportunity. Getting a lot of Ravagers killed before they were morphed and letting these tanks get the high ground choke.
Reinforcements have been severely delayed by these Zerglings. They get another 6 SCV kills. I mean, Keen, he's doing a great job keeping stuff together, but still on 38 workers now, with a couple more going down. Not going to feel good. Like, these tanks are great, but keep in mind how difficult it is to replace them, so the odd corrosive biles might just take these out in a good way. Corrosive biles the bio for some reason? I don't know, I agree with that decision. But he takes out the tanks in the back line. Now he goes for surrounding the Marines. He's starting to collapse on top of the army, but the DPS of the Marines is pushing through.
Yeah, it was a very difficult decision, I guess, for Keen to make, to either protect his tanks altogether or go after what looked to be very vulnerable Ravagers. And maybe that was the right decision. Maybe it would have turned out roughly the same no matter what happened there. Although I do agree with you. I think Corsair absolutely should have gone on the tanks. Okay. So Rogue holds. He's on 63 drones, and he's ahead on upgrades now. Because Keen did take the opportunity to not make upgrades. He's maybe even forgetting them at this point. He has enough gas. He has enough minerals.
I love, by the way, that Viking has about 6 kills on it. All Overlords. Nice. Picks off a couple units in the main, pulls out. Still a Zergling run-by problem on the other side of the map continues. It's not much, but this small investment out of Rogue was worth it early on. And now even here, pulling the SVs off mining. But that's not Keen's main base. That is a genuine third, so he's not in a terrible spot. Normally, Terran, you're on 2 base, you're leapfrogging forward, you're in a terrible all-in situation, but I don't know. Keen's his income's holding up. He's got that the production underway. As long as he doesn't take really bad trades, he might even get ahead on supply, but I think this goes back to Tech favoring Rogue. Even though 2-2 starts up here for... Okay, almost kills his queen. It's a little awkward. Even though 2-2 starts up for Keen, I mean, the Hive Tech is going to be a big difference, a big factor. Get adrenal glands, get the Ultralisk, whatever your heart desires, and Hive is starting up as we speak.
Yeah, the upgrades are pretty big, but it's also just... Upgrades are not... I don't think Keen has that strong of a mid-game push. Like, it's really quite hard to call what's mid and early and whatnot because of the early all-in. But the point is, like, he's not really being aggressive right now. I don't think he really could be. The fear of Lings finding his army as it transport over the side of the map is dangerous. Tanks can't be caught on sieged. So he's trying to drop, you know, realizing that's not really going to work out with a main push. But if it's not a main push, then Rogue should be able to get to Hive, and that's an even more problematic scenario.
Big distraction with that one medevac as these 3 head towards the main. Are they going to be able to unload in the dark spots? Not scouted, no overlords. Oh, this is going to be bad.
This is really nice. That Queen's going to go down. It's still distracting with 2 other medevacs, and he could target the Hive. I think he should target the Hive. Yeah,
actually, I think that might be the best choice here. Get some drones. Go for the Hive.
Oh my god, I can't believe he's not going for the Hive. Like, the Roaches were so out of position. They still are so out of position.
Good luck with the Zerglings.
He must have assumed there wasn't as much time. You know, like there had to have been Roaches somewhere, but his 2 medevacs saw most of the army. He's going to take on this fight even with less upgrades. And Rogue just made a big mistake perhaps by only saying that much. Now really nothing's on the way.
It's hard to look at Rogue's army supply. Like, if this was 81 army supply of Hydras, Lings, and Banelings, you're like, damn, Rogue's got a really good army. But the fact that these are Roaches, they're overinflated, he's going to stop Banelings and Banelings' speed, most importantly. Oh my god, the denies out of Keen are so sick right now. I mean, going back to remind everybody, last time we saw these 2 play on the channel, Rogue won. It was like 3-1. I'm still saying 3-1, even though I'm not sure if it's 3-1 or 3-2, but Rogue won, and Keen and him had a good series. We're seeing another great series, but Keen's looking a lot better than Rogue today.
He is, yeah. Rogue made a big mistake. Only 6 more Roaches would have definitely taken care of things, I think. It would have snowballed that like that. But TD was now done for Keen, is caught up. I thought he was really going to fall behind. But then Rogue started, you know, going into melee upgrades that really contributed. Killing the spawning pool did delay adrenal glands, and a lot of Zergs are preferring getting that immediately. But let's be real, getting Chitinous Splending instead isn't like a bad alternative, and that's what he's going to be looking for. The push is coming already, however, and he's not started at Ultras instead.
What are your thoughts on this, actually? 14 medevacs. That's a lot of medevacs to have for Terran right now.
I think 14 is fine, but you don't go anymore. I think 10 is pretty perfect, really.
Oh, I like the attempt to do burrow shenanigans. That's bloody clever, but it does get seen, it does get scanned.
I really... The Hive would have meant that there is no Ultra Cavern, and, like, even better, no Vipers, because Keen was, you know, depending a lot on tanks. Oh, the Parasitic Bomb.
So I'm on board with you on, like, the Hive should have been the priority target, right? But if it got the Hive but didn't get the Baneling speed, I don't think I like that as much. The fact that he
I disagree, but like really respectably so, because I do see like both arguments working out really well.
Yeah, this really feels like a campaign mission, right? Like going to the next level, you can either get bailing speed or Nidus. Anyways, the Ultra lists go down pretty quick. Not a problem dealing with those. The army supply to Keen is not amazing in snowballing. Those parasitic bombs did their job. They killed a lot of the medevacs, but there's still plenty of tanks, and this is a scary spot for Rogue. This is not a comfortable position to be in. He's getting some good close balls, though.
If he could have gotten that blinding cloud, that would have been really nice.
Yeah, but that pickoff, that little dip to go in with the Marines, good moves out of Keen, great maneuvering. Other side of the map, though, we got Zerglings getting into the bases. He's got a lot of SCVs, 20-something workers going down here.
But the army just went down. Rogue used his ultras, his roaches, everything to try and stop that push. Doesn't quite do it, but 30 SCVs, man, and Keen is down to a very small army supply on the front lines. 3 more ultras would cut it, even without chitinous plating. I mean, sure, you could target fire, but that would mean he's burning. Lose even more SCVs. Trying to focus fire and take care of it back at home. Keen is playing really impressive.
Dude, Rogue too, though, at the same time. Like, I don't know where he's finding time to slip in these Zerglings, whether it's 3 or 12. Like, he's getting damage done every time he runs them around. And now these burrowed ones, they're going to get right back on top of those SCVs. He does have Adrenal Glands. He's got +2. He's going to chew through them very quickly. And there's no way he's fighting these Ultras with the amount of units he has. So he's got to back into the corner, pick up, and get the hell out of there.
Yeah, and while, you know, harping on the no chitinous plating, Keen also hasn't started +3 attack, which you really at least get +3, even if you don't worry about armor, get the attack. He's still building 2 tanks at a time, so Rogue probably should think about adding on Vipers again, even though they didn't look so great last time. I think a lot of it had to do with just how stressful the situation was. Tanks were already in his face. Not like a calm siege up, I know what I'm doing thing. He did lose the hatchery, by the way, which it wasn't really too highlight because it was one of the... He has so many other hatcheries, but that was
it's a natural base. It's going to be almost mined out soon. It's really not a strong pickoff. It's a good pickoff, but not a strong pickoff. I gotta say, though, for Rogue's sake on this one, like, this game was really questionable for a couple of different reasons. One, of course, the way the first attack went. Secondly, the recovery for both players. But the fact that I look at this, like, if it wasn't for the SCV kills, like, Keen, I think, would have been in a pretty good spot still. His production wasn't touched. He's actually had pretty good production in general. But he hasn't had the money. He knows it. There's the tap out. GG. Rogue ties up the series, and he won't go down without a fight.
GG.
Also, hot guacamole, that front page bump. Dude, 6,500 people watching StarCraft on Monday morning? Hell yeah. Actually, on this note, too, I should mention, going forward with the BTSL in the future months, that's going to be taking place on Monday. So we're classically in the past, we've had Monday be our European Cups at 10 a.m. Pacific and onwards. We're swapping Wednesdays and Mondays. So Wednesdays are going to be the European Cups, and Mondays are going to be the new Korean Cup. So if you guys are enjoying StarCraft 2 at this time period on a Monday, be prepared to enjoy it more in the future. And hopefully you guys are enjoying the time slot. But anyways, we're gonna... I don't know if we actually got time for a break. If they make the lobby quick, we'll skip the break.
It's a lot of admin or casters to invite, so I think you have time.
All right, we'll squeeze this in. We'll see you guys here in 2 minutes. Thanks for watching. All right, we're back, and it's the first ace match we've had today. Going here to game 3. Move Rogue's name up there. Booyah. Spawning here to the top left, we do have the blue Zerg player. I almost said red again for some reason. It's Rogue. Because he's rouge.
Yeah. Well, not this game. In the bottom right, as the red Terran, he is Keen.
All right. So, again, whether you guys come for the front page or whether you're just tuning in because there's a lot of stuff going on, I hope you guys will join us for future casts. So hit that follow button if you haven't. A lot of good StarCraft content here on BaseTradeTV. But I do want to quickly mention that the next 2 days are going to be 2v2 action. We got 2 days back-to-back GSL, WCS style groups. Really fun players, really good matches, and I'm excited to see how those play out. But as mentioned before getting into this, re-emphasizing that Monday with the early morning time slots is going to become the new normal on BaseTradeTV. So if you guys are really enjoying StarCraft in the morning on a Monday, hopefully you'll be sure to keep enjoying it on the morning in a Monday. Or in the morning on a Monday. Reverse it. But yo, 1,000 bits come in via Banling Busts. My supply depots are down. Thank you, Diesel Max Power. Nice.
Awesome. A lot of bits today.
Dude, a lot of bits like this month. Like, I was actually comparing numbers, guys. I know, Rivka, and you always talk about money. It's so boring. Shut up. It's how we live. And I can't say the exact amount, but I will say we are a little over $1,000 more in the first 15 months of first 15 days of January than the entire month of January last year. And it's so weird because we actually cast almost every day January 2017. We've only cast like 5 days January 2018. It's so crazy to see that level of support via subs, via bits, whatever. Like that is actual channel growth you can chart, and it's so cool that you guys support us. You spoil us. You straight up, you spoil us rotten, and I thank you guys so much for doing so.
This TvZ, it's the ace match, and Rogue maybe got an early lead. I guess it's still really hard to tell exactly where his early roach pressure really put him.
Oh.
He's not doing it again so far.
By the way, I am 100% rooting for Rogue now. Rogue has to win this. Not that I would be upset if Keen advances, but with Alive and Cure in the other semifinals and Innovation waiting for the winner of this series, it's all Terran. Guys, it's 4.0. I thought Terran wasn't winning anything. Have I been led astray?
Yeah, Terran won against Protoss in the quarterfinals.
Hear me out, right? Tinfoil hat time. Riff conspiracy if you got it in chat, guys. Coincidence that the balance team announces changes for nerfs based on win percentages? Suddenly everybody is definitely not throwing their games in hopes of a last-ditch effort to make Blizzard change their mind on those decisions. I'm just saying it's a little coincident.
I guess. Well, yeah, it is. Jokes aside, it is a more balanced matchup as of late with the most recent patch. It does, a lot of things still need tweaking, including like PvZ is probably the worst right now. That should be getting a lot of highlight. I really wish that honestly some of the tweaks were just bug fixes. We didn't really see Vipers look very good last game. They died mostly, but in the first game we saw a couple Liberator abducts, and while they didn't truly affect the game, you could have noted. Well, you could have noted that Liberators are still bugged when they're abducted, and Thors are still bugged if we saw them in this game, but we're not going to.
Oh,
it's Keen is going for bio.
There's a bug I found out about on the coffee day that you would just love. Like, this is gonna be your jam right here. This is gonna be your favorite bug in StarCraft 2. I'm calling it right now. So you know when Cyclones get the laser sights?
Yeah.
If they're loaded in medevacs, the laser sights show above the medevac. So the medevac flies around with these two weird red lines just above it in the sky. And it looks even weirder when it's mass Cyclones inside mass medevacs.
That is really weird. Obviously, it's such a disadvantage. Now you can tell it's in the medevac. That's bullshit.
But I mean, the bug fixes you were referencing, they have one major bug fix that they should really just get it over with already, that they've been putting out for a while, and it's remove the Raven from the game. But we keep trying to make this viable.
They did fix the parasitic bomb bug. Yeah, parasitic bomb bug. That was
yeah. So that one, for those who don't know, was doing a damage immediately, basically an extra tick when it shouldn't.
Which still happened, I guess, in that last game.
Yeah, that's why I was going to reference Parasitic Bomb and the medevacs that we saw earlier. But yo, while the Liberator tries to maneuver in here, we might have Bailey's in game, but we got Bailey's in chat. Jibby reasserts dominance as Bit Boss. 1,000 Bailings busting that chat, dude. Thank you for using the new cheer motes. By the way, I told the artist how much people have been using them, and she's so happy. She loves when people use their emotes, I guess, which is cool.
Helling's running to the third base. Not gonna get too much done. Liberator also didn't get really a lot done. I almost got a queen because Rogue misplaced it, but not too much there. But Keen, at the sacrifice of what could have been maybe more harassment and using his Hellions a little bit longer, takes a much faster third CC, which I think is really preferable because it's a safe one too. Rogue isn't going across the map. I mean, I guess it's a little scary to see roaches, but he's not going across the map.
I do really like, by the way, that he has gone roaches a couple times now. Even if you're not getting too many of them for an all-in, they're still really great defensive early game units. No, it's expensive, and it's not something you want to justify having to do, but it's nice that he's not taking any damage thanks to doing it. Also, yo, Linkin Park Tots just subbed with Twitch Prime. Thank you much. But yo, there was this one Linkin Park video that was like 3D. Do you know which one I'm talking about? It was like CG, and it was like a battle of robots and stuff.
No.
Oh man, that would have been like the closest to like Linkin Park Toss I could imagine.
Any Linkin Park songs that I know are probably because I watched them over animated music videos, like where they put them over like anime and video games.
Oh, like AMVs and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know what the real ones look like.
My favorite one was this, they did this one that was kind of like this sketch style. I wish I could remember which songs they were associated with. Anyways, not important. Thank you much for that sub, dude. Marines continue to maneuver around, but they are pushed off. Roaches are a little too much to handle, so getting out of there safe and sound. Other side of the map, though, as we saw, third base was taken pretty quick. This is leading way to another factory. Armory's humming away with some upgrades, too. Keen's looking to have a pretty solid but very standard Terran follow-up.
Yes, it's coming. It's really a very standard game, but I like kind of the corners he did cut. You know, maybe not as many Hellions. Really a lot of preference on macroing, getting 50C down as fast as possible, and not even just a second factory, but a third factory too.
Whoa,
now Rogue's already on the way to a hive, and if this is mass tanks for someone trying to reach for ultras, great, A+. But if it's someone who's going for Vipers, which usually do very well against tanks, and the last one was on a highlight video, I'm still kind of worried for Keen, despite what is like so far not much to talk about. Like, oh, he's going for 4CC, oh, he's going for Roaches. Like, nothing's really happened in this game, but Rogue is already up the hive, and that's concerning.
Yeah, hive actually, it's not just that it's a quick hive, it's hive so uncontested. Now we're starting to get some of these run-bys, some marine attacks. Oh, if he denies battling speed 2 games in a row, I get called bullshit, but alright, picks up, gets out of there, he's not going to get a chance to do that. But also gets the army out alive, which matters.
Kinda sucks he didn't get those long line of drones, yeah. But Vipers and an Ultra Skyvan and a lot of upgrades, tunneling claws included, which, you know, if they don't happen in the beginning of or the mid parts of the game, you kind of forget that it's a possibility.
So Overlord drops. I was like, where did these come from? 4 roaches sent on this way. Gonna force a couple of scans, which is really annoying. And if he doesn't deal with these appropriately, this can pick up a lot of SCV kills too when you're not looking. Roach mineral line attacks are actually very volatile. Oh man,
go ahead.
I was gonna say chat's got my back, but Points of Authority was the stick robot battle one, and then apparently Breaking the Habit was the sketch one. Those are 2 great Linkin Park videos.
So, while we wait for this game to continue, because again, nothing much is happening. In fact, I think Keen's really just trying to play to the super late game anyways. I'm really glad that this new keyboard of mine, I finally learned how to use the dip switches, which is great. But also that pause break isn't a key. You have to hit function plus another key. Because I would always be terrified that my cats would press it. It's on the very edge of my keyboard. It's totally within, like, you know, possibility they would actually step on it. Paula's, like, lying down on my keyboard almost literally. And, don't have to worry anymore. Hey, I saw that referee. Big relief. Sometimes I'm like, Crank, I make the lobbies. But other times I'm like, Crank, you make the lobbies.
And then Olivia's just like, children, I make the lobbies.
Yeah, she's waiting in a semifinal lobby, I think.
Olivia, I feel like Olivia, by the way, I don't know what it is about it. She would embrace that Knuckles meme perfectly, like, as the admin. I'll show you the way. Gives everyone invites to the lobbies.
I did not know what this meme was. I just know you were doing it a lot.
What? Do you still not know what it is? Or you mean just like heard about it? Oh, maybe it's for the best, to be honest.
Okay. That's what people say that.
I bought a t-shirt for it. I hate myself. I am part of the problem. Steepa will buy Keen time to respond to this. By the way, his tanks, he's got a lot of... I love the amount of tanks he has. In fact, these tanks are so good in number that they might actually be better used half in siege mode and some not, specifically to maneuver around those abducts. Because unsieged tanks do a ton of damage, as we're actually witnessing it. They push off the roaches. 28 damage a shot. Even that will chew through that chitinous plating on the ultras.
Oh yeah, but the blinding cloud's gonna be so scary. Keen is now advancing to a 5th base, built like on Fusion, planetary. These roach attacks they would be buying time. If Keen was going 3 base, building a 4th, really trying to hit that pre-hive timing, Rogue's tunneling claws have bought him so much time. But that's not really what this game is. Like, Keen is playing 2 ultras. He's getting a Ghost Academy now. He's trying to take a good engagement offensively against a late game Zerg. And the tunneling claws haven't really done a lot. Ultras are ready to go with chitinous plating, I assume, this time. Yes. And it's scary. Once Keen goes down the ramp, he's in a really terrible spot, but that's why he only has his Marines down here.
Yeah, he's really trying to like pick up a lot of these tumors, but there's just so much creep to clean up, and he's kind of late to doing it. Oh, the Ultra run by. Not seen often, but will be effective. There's only one tank here to defend.
Yeah, just go around the big ball of tanks, I suppose, you can't take the army on. He's going to lose his hatchery, so hatchery for what is going to be a tired minerals line with the best CDs.
Oh,
parasitic bombs
are so grody.
Choice.
He's going to lose all the medevacs if he doesn't split them. Oh my
yeah,
god.
I mean, those are so many parasitic bombs, but is that... Okay, he got 3. I was going to say, is that worth two Vipers, but I think that literally was.
Beyond it, too, even if it didn't get those last 2 and they got out of there with 5 health, the reality is these are going to be so weak that you're going to pick these off no problem later on. Queen shot, Hydra shot, anything shoots at once instead. The run-bys continue down here to the right, though, and this is a problem. He had a really nice depot wall that he has not replaced since that first run-by. So he's not able to secure this base. He's not mining off of it comfortably. Luckily, though, there are 2 other bases for him to work off of. But, man, if this was a planetary, so much less trouble.
So Keen hasn't gotten any ghosts, despite investing into them, and also hasn't gotten any liberators, which is a step not often skipped. Eventually you want liberator, bio, ghost, maybe tanks, maybe not, but he's going tank, bio into this late ultra attack, and it's still very scary. Broodlords would ultimately be the best maneuver for Rogue here, but again, Blinding Clouds could still be very good. And if not that, then I guess continuing to deny Keen's expansions. It's really weird to see the Terran, especially with this type of army, be the ones that forces the Zerg to run around and kill bases, because it's definitely usually the other way around.
Right, so there are some role reversals going on, sure, and especially with the type of units too. Like, these are ultra run-bys, these aren't Zergling run-bys. But this kills me because I feel like, I know I'm asking a lot of Keen, and he's a way better player than I'll ever be, but simple things like just re-walling this off, I feel would save him so much trouble. The only reason that wall went down in the first place was because there's like 8 ultras running by. Rogue's not going to be doing an 8 ultra run-by again anytime soon.
Yeah, no, he's not, but Keen... he doesn't want to. He has his supply maxed out anyways, so he's not really thinking about that. Oh. Here finally comes the push. The tanks are really well split on high ground
too. Yeah,
so
Black Cloud's... Oh, this actually doesn't cover all of them in time?
Like, even if it did, even if you have literally all of them, it was going to run out before the ultras got up there. This ended up being an absolutely fantastic fight for Keen.
Yeah.
Rogue should have just given up on trying to break this or just waited out for Broodlords.
85 damage a shot from these tanks is no joke when it comes to these ultras. Yes, they've got a lot of health and they could take a lot of damage, but man, that was brutal. On top of this, like, well, the potential for Broodlords is there, right? Like, Corruptors are on the way. We're going to start seeing all this stuff advance forward as he does not have a greater Spire. I'm surprised Rogue's getting caught in these bad fights. Like, that just, the decision to break Keen on the middle of the map where there's no creep, why take the fight there?
After you'd already lost the base that he was really, truly threatening, there was really not a reason to, other than maybe he thought he could.
That or some emotion, like he's just mad, like fuck these tanks, I'll take them out. No, you won't. This is Keen. Gonna crap some of these queens too. Ooh.
110%, man. She's come for a great Spire. Nice micro from Keen to pull that one medevac away. Still has plenty left over and has 3 starports now. Finally going into Liberators. Also replenish medevac should they be lost.
This is back to me too, a little bit of a classic Zerg conundrum. Like, where are the infestors? Even if you're not gonna make them the core part of your army anymore, like, can you imagine 1 or 2 fungals through some of these fights? This Marines would not have been able to kite as they have been, and that's gonna be that. Rogue gets knocked out. We got an all-Terran semifinals.
As Olimoleague should be.
As things were meant to be. The prophecy was foretold. But this is some really good Terrans at that. And we don't get to see a lot of TvT because, like, okay, balance widening aside, the reality is a lot of these tournaments we cast, all the Terrans are knocked out early. So maybe this will be fun, or maybe it'll be agonizing. I don't know, because we don't actually get to see enough TvTs nowadays to know. Like, I don't know if this is still the era of Cyclone versus Cyclone only and primarily, or maybe it's moved on from that. But we have Alive versus Cure and Innovation versus Keen. This is also a cool dynamic for me because I feel like Innovation and Cure, or excuse me, Innovation and Alive are the more hyped Terran players, with Cure and Keen kind of being more underdoggy. but I can also see this going either way. Like, actually, with all 4 of these players, I could not predict which ones go through to the finals.
It's going to be tough. Keen has some really... Was it Keen? I think it was Keen that had some really good Cyclone TvT. He seemed to understand it a lot better than whoever he was facing.
Well, guys, we're going to go to a break while we get these lobbies sorted for the semifinals. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you're enjoying the show, and we'll be back in 2 minutes.